Everyone, it's Sean. I just want to share a little bit of a journey that I'm going on right now, and I want to share with you all because it's been very personal to me. I've been very fortunate as a financial planner to share and understand and listen to a lot of other people's goals and dreams and things that are important to them and encourage them to just put it all out there and go for it. And it's finally at a point in time in my life where I've decided that I'm going to actually accomplish and do the one thing that I've always wanted to do, which is get as close as I possibly can to the top of Everest. So in this fall, I'm going to be hiking on the Everest Base Camp trek in September with two of my very closest friends, Steve Lawson and Chris Wighton. And I couldn't be more grateful for that opportunity. So I've always felt a deep regard for the mountains. I think it's always something that's drawn me, either the stories or the movies. Watching some of the cinema, the books that I've read, it's really started, really setting in when I first had my first climbing experience with my spouse, Michele. We climbed Mount Kilimanjaro together in Africa. Our very first year together was an incredible experience. We climbed that with her dad and her aunt and her cousin, and that experience really lit a fire in me, and I've just really carried that dream with me. I've just wanted to return to the mountains and be close and feel that experience again. It's been an amazing journey. It's something I've been really wishing for. But as life does, throws a lot of challenges. So going back to 2011, I experienced this really serious accident where I was in an ATV accident. It was kind of a near-death experience. I broke 5 vertebrae. I was very fortunate to live. And it's those kind of experiences when they happen to anyone. It really allows you to put perspective how important it is to live your life when you can and to set goals and move forward and to live your best life. In 2023, I decided I'm going to book my Everest Base Camp trip. So I booked that in the calendar and hired a porter and a guide. And at first, I believed I was going to do this journey solo, which was a big undertaking. And it's just over the last 4 or 5 months that Chris and Steve have come on board and said, hey, this is something that's important to us, and we want to do this as well. So I'm very fortunate and grateful to have this shared vision. And now 3 of us are going to bang this off, and I just can't think of something that's cooler than that. It's going to be a fantastic journey. The nice thing about pushing yourself like this is, in the months to come, there's going to be a few more leg days and some incline on the treadmill. That's a for sure. I couldn't pick 2 better buddies to be going on this trip of a lifetime with. I know one thing is that if there's any type of situation we're in, I can count on Chris to make someone laugh, and he's probably going to be able to talk us out of that situation. So that's a massive win for me. And then I also know if there's something physically that I need to get out of, my buddy Steve is going to probably be able to carry me out of there. That's just how tough this guy is. So I'm pretty good both ways. So I've known Chris Wighton for a long time. I think the first time I met Chris, I had walked into Bayshore. I was applying for a job shortly after high school in men's clothing at a men's clothing store. And that's where I found Chris, and we became very close friends from that point on. Years later, both becoming police officers. His dad was in law enforcement. And it's a great journey for Chris, and it was really great for me. It was a great career. Enjoyed all of that. I had a great opportunity to come into the financial space, but if I hadn't had this opportunity, I really was fond of what I was doing. And so Chris and I have been close friends that whole entire time. And it's the nice thing about Chris is that if you're not feeling great, he's the kind of guy you can just pick up the phone and just listening to him, just his banter and his wit. He makes everybody happy. He's an extremely funny guy, and it's going to be just a pleasure to be able to spend some time with him. I've known Steve Lawson. I've known Steve since we started police college in Elmer. When we first hired by the Ontario Provincial Police, we were both hired together. We didn't know each other, obviously, and it was just a really great journey. The introduction, just being 2 new guys in this new world and environment, and then kind of surviving that together and experiencing those memories and just the bond that was created has made us very, very close friends, and we've gone through a lot of things together. Nice thing about these 2 guys, We've been through thick and thin, great memories, the good days, the bad days, watching our families and our lives evolve, incredible things happening. So to be in this position now and for all of us to be coming together and just setting a target and goals and going forward in that, it's extremely important. I think it's going to be something that we're going to really, create some great memories over. We all have great friendships, and I think we all know what it takes to be a great friend or what it feels like when we have a great friend. But I'm extremely grateful to be able to have Steve and Chris and be able to call them my friends and have the kind of length of friendship that we have. There's something alluring about Everest Base Camp for me. It's the mountains, it's the history, the story, it's the imagery of Everest, the fact that it's just so monstrous, and it's the grittiness of the journey that you have to be able to get through in order to even see it. I think that's a romantic part of that story. Maybe what mentally and physically you have to go through just to be able to experience a little brief moment around that. I think that's the part that really catches me. So this 16-day adventure starts in Kathmandu. It's a city over 2.5 million people, filled with some incredible history, ancient temples. It's got deep cultural roots. From there, we're going to take our legendary flight, which is quite renowned, into Lukla, home of one of the most dramatic mountain airports in the entire world. And from there, we ascend to 5,500 meters. We're going to push ourselves physically and mentally, emotionally, taking the views in from Everest, Nuptse, Lhotse, and Changse, from our final stop at Kalapathar. So it's going to be an amazing view looking back at Everest as we wrap up our journey over that 16 days that we're doing it. So this just isn't about the climb. It's about pushing limits. It's about setting goals and targets and really living the way that I encourage people through the planning process to do. I encourage people to set targets and write things down and achieve them. And I'm just holding myself accountable here by deciding this is the time for me to do that as well. So I'm sharing this journey with you. I'm sharing this journey with you in hopes that it inspires you a little bit, that you can see that you can write down your own goals and achieve them and just go for it. That's what I'm really looking forward to the most about this. So what's on your bucket list? Maybe think about writing it down and just putting some thought into that and seeing where it goes. And there's so many opportunities. It may not be a mountain climb. It might be something that's tropical. It might be spending time with someone. It might just be changing the way you live your life a little bit. So as we train and prepare for this incredible journey, I look forward to sharing more of this with you and just giving you some updates and what's going on and how the training's going and maybe some changes to our itinerary. But as we go down this road, we're getting closer to Everest Base Camp, one step at a time, and look forward to updating you. Thanks a lot for listening.